All right, welcome. So, why attention is so valuable? This video is all about attention and the value of attention, right? Why is attention so important? What is the purpose of increasing the amount of attention that you give to something, right? Because I could multitask, right? I could do two things at once depending on what I'm doing. Obviously, I couldn't do two things at once when I'm recording, but with a lot of tasks, I could do two things at once. So what is the purpose of giving all of your attention to one thing at a time? For example, the gym. What is the purpose of giving your attention to the workout instead of splitting it between, let's say, music and a workout? So for those of you that don't know, I work out completely silent, in complete silence, with no music, no podcasts in the background, no nothing, right? Just straight me, my thoughts, and the work itself, the workout. So what is the point of that? Why is that even valuable? Like, what is that? What is the benefit of that? Why do that? And how can we actually begin to increase the amount of attention that we have to give? Because I know a lot of you guys will not just stop listening to music, but there are other ways that we can increase the amount of attention that we actually give to the work that we're doing in the moment, so that we can increase our results, increase the amount of progress we make, and increase our ability to get the work done and the quality of that work. So if any of you guys are into self-improvement and you would like to learn more about self-improvement, you can go ahead and subscribe down below. And if you would like help, my personal help, with increasing the amount of progress that you make on self-improvement, go ahead and click the top link in the description to join Self-Improvement Synthesized, my community where I help athletes and entrepreneurs maximize their potential by optimizing their routines. But if you'd like to work one-on-one with me, you can also go to the other link in the description and go ahead and book a call, or you can go down to my Instagram and you can DM me there as well, just to talk and have a conversation to see if you're a fit for the coaching program. But yeah, so my story, how I doubled the rate of my results by increasing my attention, right? And this seems a little odd. How do you double your results? By increasing your attention, right? And I'll give you two examples of this, right? I'll give you two good examples of this, right? The first one is in the gym. I had been working out for about 5 years at this point. This is about January of this year. Actually, we could go back to January of the year before, more like February, March time. But I started going back to the gym a little bit more frequently. I started going with my friends. And what I noticed was I was making a lot of progress, but I wasn't going very frequently. And this became way more evident this year. And the only big change that I made in the gym was both my diet, yes, but also the fact that I stopped listening to any music. I stopped bringing headphones at all. I stopped listening to podcasts, audiobooks, right? I always used to have something playing, right? But at one point I just stopped and I started just focusing and being present in the workout, right? And this year, this was very evident because I hadn't been to the gym in a year. When I started going again, I was only going about 3 times a week. But I did that for about 2 to 3 weeks. And by the end of those 2 to 3 weeks, I pretty much doubled the amount of muscle mass that I had. I can't say exactly how much I gained because it wasn't like a measurable amount, but each and every workout, I noticed significant progress, right? Significant growth in the muscle groups that I was training at the time. And the only difference was the fact that I was giving more attention to my workouts. I had friends who had been grinding 2 times a day in the gym for months, right? And I started building more muscle than them in a few weeks, right? Because of the increased amount of attention that I had been giving to my workouts, right? Not only did my muscle mass increase and I became very, very toned very quickly, and I could feel and I could perceive the adaptations within my body, right? I could consciously direct my body to do whatever I specifically needed it to do. And this is because I had already spent a year practicing presence, practicing giving my full attention to what I'm doing at the moment, or in the moment, right? What I'm doing at this time right now. But another example of this is actually YouTube, right? When I started YouTube, it didn't take much work to actually get used to the process, right? It didn't take much work for me to actually consistently find topics to talk about, consistently find valuable information to fill the videos with. Why? Because I had already spent 2 years giving my attention to content, to information, to learning, right? all about all of the topics that I talk about on this channel, right? All of the topics I discuss on this channel. I had already spent 2 years giving my attention to these things and learning and mastering these things. And so now, because of where I've chosen to give my attention, it's now very easy for me to begin making these videos. And you'll see, I will be able to keep up the consistency, and I will be able to continuously both increase the value of the videos, but at the very least maintain the value within the videos, because I'm constantly giving my attention to what can I learn. The specific information that I am talking about and teaching here, I always am learning, I'm always studying, I'm always focused, right? And because of that, because I'm always giving my attention to these things, I constantly have information to give. I constantly have things to talk about, things to discuss, right? Valuable things to teach. And so my point of all this is, when you give your full attention to what you're doing, you can very drastically increase the rate at which you receive results, the amount of productivity that you have. But even then, you don't notice a significant shift in productivity itself, but the results that actually compound, right? What actually comes out of the work that I do is much, much, much more valuable than if I was to split my attention between multiple different things at once, right? So the better that you can focus, the more that you can focus, the more you can actually create results. You don't have to change the amount of work you do either. And that's the significant thing, is I was actually probably working less in the gym, but I was making way more progress and way faster because I was giving my full attention to the workouts when I was doing them. My rests, my breaks, I don't go on my phone. I sit there and I'm with myself. I'm not even thinking, right? I'm just relaxing. I'm just with my body, with myself. I'm feeling the muscles, right? I'm feeling the soreness in the muscles, and that will also increase and speed up recovery. So then I can go back into a better set, right? And then because I'm giving all of my attention to the workout itself, to my body while I'm working out, the results are increased because of both my attention and the intention that I have, right? So I have a very clear intention to build muscle and grow strength, right? And then because I'm giving all of my attention in the moment, all of my awareness, all of my presence right in the moment to the workout itself, then what that leads to and what that means is that I actually increase the amount of results that I see for each and every workout, right? So the power of attention, focus, and its gift of momentum, right? So focus is a very powerful tool that we can use to build up momentum. The result of focus, right? So the cost of focus is your attention, right? The cost of focus is your effort, right? Because it takes effort to stay concentrated and to stay focused. So that's the cost of it. But the result of it, so what you're actually purchasing, I guess you could say, by trading in your attention and your energy by focusing, the result of that is momentum. Right? So you give focus, you trade focus for momentum, right? So when you are focused on something, let's say these videos, for example, I'm focused and locked in on making this video. And so what that does is, because of just the focus itself, it creates a little bit of momentum. I'll be honest, I've had a couple other things to do today. I've already been to the gym. I have another job that I do. I've already done some work for that, right? So I've already done a bunch of work today. I got home. I was about to drive home instead of coming here, right? Because I just wanted to shower, just wanted to relax before I came over here. Then I thought to myself, I was like, who cares if you smell like shit? No one's going to smell you recording a video. You're just coping, right? You just want to go and rest and do the easy thing and relax instead of going and doing the hard work that you have, right? And so just because I was focused on the fact that I needed to come here, that resulted in me thinking about it more, and then I ended up showing up. Right? And then when I showed up, all I did was sit down with my notebook. I have 2 notebooks. I have one full of video ideas, and then I have one that I write my scripts in, right? I sat down with those 2 notebooks, and I sat there and I wrote my scripts for today, right? And now I'm recording those videos. The reason I'm able to do this is not because I'm continuously pushing and forcing myself to do all this work, right? It's just because I'm keeping my attention and my focus on the result, not necessarily the result as in like the end goal, but just focused on creating the result, right? Creating the content, creating the script, and then recording that content to create the video, right? My focus is just there, right? That's all I'm thinking about, all I'm focused on. And I'm not even thinking about it, right? I'm just concentrated, right? I'm just giving my attention, my awareness to this process. And so what that results in for me is momentum. The more I do this, the more I build this up, the more momentum I create and the more momentum I build, right? And this is a very beautiful gift because it means that effort isn't actually the cost of momentum, right? Effort itself isn't the cost of creating a result, right? The actual cost is focus, is concentration, which takes effort, right? So it's not so much that I'm putting a whole ton of effort into the work itself, right? I'm putting a lot of effort into keeping myself concentrated and focused on the work, right? Keeping myself from drifting, keeping my mind from drifting, right? Keeping my body from drifting, right? Any cravings that you feel, you need to know how to shut these down and keep your attention on what is currently at hand, what is currently at stake. And so in order to maintain momentum, what we need to do is we need to continuously keep our focus where it's supposed to be, right? I need to continuously keep my focus on the work that I'm doing right here and right now, right? Because if I just decided and started to drift, I could start thinking about how hungry I am. I could start thinking about how I haven't had any water yet or food, right? It's almost, I think it's 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, something like that. I haven't eaten, I haven't drank any water, but I'm focused on this. I'm focused on creating this result, right? And so because of that, I'm able to maintain this momentum and continuously build it up, right? Because my attention is on this. And the more you concentrate your attention, the more focused it becomes, the more concentrated it becomes, the more it expands as well, right? So for example, it may take a lot of effort to get my attention right here. It might take a lot of effort to keep my attention here and keep it concentrated here. But the more I do that, the more it feels like this experience, this difficult bout of work opens up and it relaxes in a sense. You relax in a sense. And your attention can just flow into and through the thing that you're doing very easily and very effortlessly. But it takes working through the resistance, right, in order to build up that momentum. And then as that momentum builds, the way you maintain it is just by keeping your focus, keeping your attention on that. And so when you have a short attention span, the problem with that is you can't create progress. You can't build progress. You can't build momentum because your attention might be on the thing that you want to do for a few seconds, a few minutes even. But if it's only on it for that short period of time, what happens is, just like I said before, that resistance that you feel is more prominent because you only have a little bit of attention on it. And then you forget about it and lose your attention to that thing very quickly. And then by the time you remember it, think about it again, it's still that big wall of resistance, right? That big barrier of resistance is still sitting there, right? It's still waiting for you. And you can't escape it. It's impossible to escape it until you focus on it. And you focus your attention there, you focus your energy there, and you push through it. You move through it, right? And then that builds up and creates that momentum that we talked about. And then you maintain it by maintaining your focus. But again, if you have a short attention span, you can't maintain your focus, right? If you have a short attention span, that maintaining of focus isn't even an option, right? You might be able to build momentum. You might be able to push through the resistance and get some work done, but then you're going to revert right back because your attention goes on to some other random thing, right? That seems just as important as what you were just doing. But because of this this attention jumping from thing to thing, right? Because your attention is constantly jumping from thing to thing, you can't actually sustain momentum in any of these fields, in any of these areas. And so therefore you can't create real results, right? You might be able to create some results, but not the results you're looking for, right? Not to the fullest extent that you could possibly reach, right? You're not working to your fullest capacity and your fullest potential, but you're getting work done, right? So it feels nice, it feels productive, but it doesn't matter because you aren't actually moving towards your goals in a reasonable and sustainable way, or rather a consistent way even. And so results are created by your attention, right? So they are the result of sustaining attention, sustaining focus over a long enough period of time to see to it to see to the fact that you have done all of the things, checked all of the boxes, right? So I could reword that a bit. Your results are created by the work that you do, and the work that you do is based on the continuation of your attention, right? So it's the progression of attention. So the more focus you have, the closer you are to your result. Does that make sense? Not necessarily that simple. If you're like super focused, super locked in, you're not just going to get your result. But the more focused you are, the more you embed yourself into the task, into the work that you're doing, and continue to concentrate that attention into the thing that you're trying to create, the more you do that, the closer you are to your result. And so results are simply a matter of reaching that stage through continuously focusing on the work, right? So let me give you an example of this, right? My current goal is 10K a month. But what happens is if I was to make a video and then forget about YouTube for 2 days, and then try to make another video and then forget about YouTube, right? I'm going to make some progress, right? I'm going to make a little bit of progress, don't get me wrong, but my progress is going to be capped at a certain level. It's going to be capped based on the degree of my attention, based on the degree to which I give my attention and focus to this work. But if I was to focus on it as deeply as possible, and maintain that focus over a long period of time, what would end up happening is, and what is currently happening, and you'll see this, is I focus and I build up YouTube videos, right? I make a bunch of YouTube videos, right? Because that's the thing I've focused on and realized is the next step, is the key. Okay, so I focus on YouTube videos and I make YouTube videos and I keep going and I keep increasing my focus. I increase my concentration. And as a result, doing the work, I build up the skills necessary, right? And eventually it takes very little attention, well, still full attention, but it takes very little effort to record YouTube videos, right? And then I can expand that by then, okay, so I've made YouTube videos. Now let me move up to daily uploads, right? Let me hit daily uploads. Let me increase let me make better thumbnails. Let me make better titles, right? Let me create things that might benefit the viewers so that I can add more to my YouTube videos, right? And then that benefit to the viewers brings in more people, makes the people who have seen my videos decide to stay because there's a lot of value, right? This thing that I create might have helped them a lot. And then, okay, now I can really focus on creating a product, like a really valuable product, right? And then I can create that product and build out that product. And as I go further and further and further, it takes a little bit more attention, but it feels natural to broaden my horizons to the next thing, right? Bring in the next thing because I'm concentrating my attention on creating the result, on doing the work that will create the result, right? And so what we are looking to do is basically focus our attention onto the work itself, onto the task at hand, and therefore that will increase the amount of work that we get done, the amount of productivity we have, and it will allow us to further advance within that specific work, right? Within that specific goal, within that specific field, right? And that advancement is what will eventually lead you to results. And so that's how attention affects your results, because the deeper you go, right? The deeper your focus goes, the more attention you give, the closer you get to your result and the faster you get there as well. So giving your full attention. So attention itself, a good way to look at attention is as a currency, right? So it's good and healthy to view attention as a currency, as a form of currency, right? And what is it traded for? What are you trading this currency for? You are trading this currency for results, right? So for example, I needed to create a YouTube video today, right? That was the result I needed to achieve. I have to trade my attention at this current time, but we don't have to go into that right now. I have to trade my attention at this current time because I can't go and think about the other job I have. I can't go and think about the workout I'm going to hit when I get home, right? I can't go and think about what meal I'm going to have right now, because I have to give my attention to this. Otherwise, the video wouldn't be created, or it would be kind of shit, right? You'd be sitting here staring at me, staring at the wall, thinking about, oh man, am I going to have steak or chicken today? Like, that doesn't make any sense, obviously. But the point of that is I'm trading my attention by being here, right? I'm trading my attention by being here and making this video. But the result, right, the thing that I'm trading it for is the video, is creating an actual quality, high quality, good video that even I would watch, right? That's the goal of all of my videos, is to create a video that even I'd watch, right? Because I'm fairly judgmental about myself. So if I'd watch it, then it must be really good. But the point is that this attention, the attention that you have, it's a currency, right? It is a very valuable currency at that, right? Because it is how you create any reality, right? Any outcome you want is based on the degree to which you will give attention to your work, the transformation that needs to occur in order to reach that goal. So your attention is a very, very valuable currency, right? And it's traded for the results, right? You trade your attention for actually creating the result. And so what you can do is you can choose to constantly trade your attention in order to maximize progress. Instead of losing progress by giving your attention to vices, to distractions, to whatever, right? To harmful activities, or even just scattering your attention. Instead of scattering your attention or giving it to negative things, you can give your attention in full to the things that will actually help you in life, and to the things that will give you progress, and to the things that will give you fulfillment, right? And by doing that, you can maximize the amount of progress you make, right? And that's a beautiful thing. If you're watching this video, if you watch my channel, right? If you have any interest in any of my products, this is the entire goal, is to maximize progress, is to make as much progress as we can, right? That's the whole point of self-improvement, is to progress, is to transform ourselves in the most direct and full way, right? We want to transform ourselves in the best possible way, in the fullest way, right? And so anything that we can do to maximize our progress is a very, very valuable tool and a very important tool. So you need to be sure to give your attention to the things that matter. And here's the thing. You can observe what you're giving your attention to in all moments of the day. And by doing that, you get a better understanding of what you're thinking about, what you're focusing on, where your attention's going. And so therefore, you don't really need to question what results you have anymore, because you can see where your attention's going, right? If you hate your life, look at where you're giving attention. Simple as that. If you are fat and depressed, well, you're probably giving your energy and attention to the TV and the fridge, right? And obviously that's just one example, one very crude example, but the point is that the results in your life happen because of where you're giving your attention, right? They were the result of what you give your attention to. And also the kind of attention you give things, right? Because you can give things positive attention and you can give things negative attention. And based on that, that will determine what energy is returned back to you, right? What result is given back to you. So I could sit here and be all cynical about it and be like, oh, poor me, I have to sit here and record a YouTube video, oh, boo-hoo, right? But what that's going to do is that's going to actually taint my results because of the negative attention I'm giving it. I genuinely, deep down into my heart, I love doing this, right? And so because of that, I don't have to question my result. I don't have to question the outcome. I know I'm going to receive the outcome. I know I'm going to receive the result, and I know it's going to be prosperous and abundant and beautiful. But at the same time, that's only because of the type of attention I give to this, right? The type of attention that I give to my work, right? Because I love it, and because I express that on a consistent basis, and because I show up and actually do the work and put my attention here, now I can trust and know that I will actually receive the result, and that it will be a positive result, not a negative one, right? And so a good example of this is, as I was saying earlier, these videos, they're the result of me giving my attention to the right things, right? I chose, even though all of the struggles that I was having during my high school years, right? I was mentally struggling. I was physically struggling. Socially, I was struggling, right? I was very lonely in my early years of high school. Towards the end, that changed, but early years of high school, I was very lonely. But I chose to not get cynical about it. I chose not to get all depressed into my head about it. And I chose to just give my attention to the things that I knew might help, right? I gave my attention to the learning, right? To learning the things that would actually help me, right? To the things that would actually allow me to see a better outcome of my life, right? And because of that, I'm now seeing that outcome, and I'm now living that outcome, and I'm now living that result, right? And so that's a beautiful thing. All of this information that I'm giving you, right? All of the stuff that I'm teaching you, I'm not special, right? I don't have this magical brain that just knows everything. It's because I've given my attention to learning, right? Learning information that's really valuable, learning information that can really help somebody, including myself, right? And because that's where I've given my attention, the result is that I know a lot of things. I know a lot of valuable information, right? And that's just naturally the result, right? If you give your attention to books and learning, right? A lot of my learning was on YouTube, right? I watched tons of long-form podcasts, long-form content, like full guides, full courses, right? And lots of books, right? And because that's where my attention went, the result is simply that I know a lot of things. I'm smart now, right? You give your attention to learning, you become smart. You give your attention to working out, you become strong, right? You give your attention to working, you become wealthy, right? That's just the natural outcome, the natural result of giving your attention to the right things. But, oh, I'm sorry. I'm not done yet. I have some action steps for you guys. So I was about to end the video before I even give you my action steps, right? All of my videos, I always give you practical advice, right? I always give you things that you can actually go out and use, right? So the action steps are right now, drop everything. Drop everything and focus on one thing. It doesn't matter what the one thing is. The one thing could even just be staring at your wall, right? And funny enough, I'm actually making another video today that will talk about the power of sitting in silence. So you can go and see that. It'll probably be out in about a week or so. But the first thing is just drop everything and focus on one thing. So I don't care what that is. That could be get out your journal and just write for a bit. That could be just sitting in silence, focusing on your breath. That could be the project that you've been procrastinating on, right? If you think about the work itself, right? If you think about the entirety of the work, it's going to be very difficult to start. But if you just put everything away, turn your phone off or your laptop off, right? Put it away. Get out whatever it is you need to work. If you're working on your laptop, obviously don't put it away, but close out any other tabs, right? Close out any tabs that might distract you and just sit with the work itself, right? Just focus on that work itself and start doing a couple things, right? When you feel that urge to go and do something else, don't. Simple as that, don't, right? You might feel like shit because you want to go do this thing, but you can't, and you don't want to work because your brain hurts or whatever is the excuse you're coming up with. Just don't, and just spend some time sitting with that one thing for now, right? Just focus on that one thing for now and see what happens, right? You might get nowhere. That's always a possibility, but it's more likely than not that you will actually start to make some real progress on that thing. So the next thing is meditation, right? Just adding meditation in as a daily habit will simply make this a lot easier, right? So I meditate every day, and that's why it's so easy for me to show up and work, right? I have plenty of resistance, but I also have learned the ability, right, built up the skill of just turning that off, right? And that's something that you really can't beat it, right? Just being able to turn off the mind, turn off the brain and its excuses, is something you can't beat, right? So meditation is an essential piece, an essential key. But the next thing is actually dopamine detoxing. So one of the reasons that your attention span is so short is because you get dopamine from the things that are draining your life force, right? Draining your very being. This can be any type of drugs. This can be any type of junk food that's harming your physical body, right? This can be over-sexualization or just lust in general. This can be social media. Social media is the biggest one, in my opinion. But anything that is going to sap and drain your attention, right? Anything that gives you dopamine that is going to over time sap your attention. These are things that we want to completely and utterly avoid, right? We want to completely remove these things. And by doing so, we actually allow ourselves to begin to feel motivated, to feel the desire to do the actual work, right? To do the real work, to put in the real effort for the thing that we want to achieve. So yeah, that is all 3 of my action steps. Drop everything and focus right now, meditate, and do a dopamine detox. And I'll have other videos out, probably full courses and full guides on how to dopamine detox. So don't worry about that if that's something you don't know about. But a lot of people on self-improvement, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say dopamine detox, right? Take a break from all of the overstimulation. And then as a result, you'll get an increase in your attention and your ability to focus. And then just direct that right into the work that you're looking to do, into the goal that you're trying to achieve. And there you go. All right, so that's all I have for you guys today. If you are interested in learning more about self-improvement, go ahead and click the subscribe button. And also go down and click that first link in the description to check out Self-Improvement Synthesized. If you guys would like to work with me one-on-one, my DMs are open on Instagram, and there's a Calendly link, second link in the description. You can book a call with me and we can talk about whether or not it's a fit for you. But yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'm out of here. Peace.